to address the issues facing Tennesseans today. From 10 News, this is Inside Tennessee.
Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. I'm your moderator, John Becker. Early voting underway, and two candidates vying for your vote are with us this morning in studio. Both want to represent Tennessee State House District 13, and we want to show you that on the screen now. It cuts from North Knoxville through a portion of West Knoxville and then spreads into South Knoxville. A little tough to see on that map, but we'll give you a second to digest it. With us this morning, Representative Gloria Johnson, who is the Democrat in this race and the incumbent in that seat. Her challenger, Eddie Smith, also with us this morning. He's a Republican. Nice to have both of you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. On the end there, our panel. Don Bosch, a Democrat and a lawyer. Nice to have you here.
Good morning, John.
Susan Richardson Williams is a Republican. She runs her own PR firm. Nice to have you here.
Good morning.
Mike Danilla is an investigative reporter with Channel 10.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. All right, let's ask, first of all, why you're running. Why do you want this seat again, Representative Johnson?
Well, I feel like we're making some headway. You know, I think everybody knows that I'm a teacher, and the reason that I ran is because I was concerned about some of the issues in education. It seems like we're making some headway and moving in a good direction. A lot of people are discussing it. There wasn't a topic before. It was just sort of pushed down from the top. But I think we're getting there. And because of jobs, really, we need to focus on jobs. That's the #1 topic for my constituents. And we're trying to get legislation. I've had several pieces of legislation to create jobs and co-sponsored with other people in the legislature, and those don't seem to be getting out. And Tennessee is suffering because of it. Other states are doing better, dropping their unemployment, and Tennessee is not.
We'll talk.
And there are things we can do.
We'll talk those specifics momentarily. Eddie Smith, why are you running?
You know, as I looked around, I really began to be concerned about the direction our country was headed. I've got 2 young children. I've got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I worry about the future that my kids are going to have. You know, growing up, I had great opportunity to have a life and live in a great country that my grandfather had fought in World War II for, and I see that slowly slipping away. So I really just wanted interstate government to begin to make a positive difference so that my kids have the same opportunities in the future that I have now. The other part of it is I want to help restore some of the values that I believe most of the district holds back into this seat.
Besides the D and the R, beside your names, what's the biggest difference between the two of you? Eddie, we'll start with you.
I think the biggest difference is, you know, biggest difference, I guess, would be the fact that for the last 14 years, I've been serving on staff at a church. You know, Gloria has been a school teacher, and I applaud what she's done in our school system. I've been in a different area, you know, of service, working with our community, doing a living Christmas tree, also working with various ministries to help reach Knoxville and just be a positive influence in our community.
Gloria?
Well, I would say that the biggest difference is I have, you know, I've served 2 years, and I believe that I have served well. I think that's demonstrated through the endorsements I've received from the News Sentinel and the FOP and the firefighters, the TEA and state employees. And so I think people in the district know that I'm working hard for them, and that's what I'm hearing back from them. And so I think I would like to continue that.
Eddie, I'm not sure you did you answer the question?
Yeah, that's a question you probably ought to get ready for. What
are the biggest differences? You said you work in the clergy, and Gloria is a teacher, and that's about all I heard. I don't know if...
Yeah, well, and I think we could go into some of that. You know, there's obvious differences on some of the issues where we stand. You know, when it comes to jobs, I firmly believe that people should have more of their own money to spend in businesses to create jobs. I don't believe it's the government's role to create jobs. I believe it's government's role to create an environment for jobs to be created. I also believe that, you know, we need competition in schools. I believe that's healthy. Anytime you have competition, it allows for the competition helps to bring about
Are you
positive
referring
changes.
to you support charter schools?
I support charters. I do support limited vouchers, which I know has been debated in the legislature. I also support our public schools, and I support you know, school choice within our public schools. You know, parents being able to move their kids around the school system.
Irrespective of zoning or any other consideration school districts may have. Parents can just pick up and move. If they want to take all their children to Bearden or Farragut, you think that's fine no matter where they live within a school district?
Yes.
Okay, and what happens to the other schools?
You know, again,
where do you cut it off, and what is your criteria?
Again, I think you just leave it to the parents to decide what's best for their kids so that they can move them where their kids are going to have the best.
I understand, but you can understand, and I suspect Gloria could speak to this better, there will be schools that simply will not be able to accommodate the demand under the system you've just proposed. Where do you cut it off? What do you do? How do you staff it? How do you fix it? How do you fund it?
Well, the way you fix it is to fully fund our public schools and make sure that every school gives every child the opportunity to get a great education.
Right, every school,
and
so they don't
every
have to
child in every zip code has the opportunity to get the best possible education, and we're doing that in Knox County. You know, I passed a bill, the Community Schools Act, and what that did was took what Knox County's doing at Pond Gap, Inskip, some of our community schools as a model. We're seeing massive increases in test scores. We're seeing increases in parental engagement. Talk to anybody who's gone down to Pond Gap to volunteer. They are the happiest people alive, and they can't wait till they get to go back the next time.
I want to give Mr. Smith a chance to answer Don's question about portability, about movability. Where do you see, do you have a definitive line that you would draw as far as parents not being able to move? No,
I believe once you start drawing a line, you start telling parents, okay, you're okay to do it, but you're not. And again, that's government telling parents what they can and can't do with their kids, and I don't believe that should be the case. I believe parents should have the flexibility to move their kids wherever they feel it's best for their kids.
So what happens when 20,000 people apply to go to Farragut High School?
Well,
what do you do?
I think if you start seeing a school decrease, it puts pressure on the school system, on our board, to go into that school and figure out, okay, what's not working and how can we encourage the teachers that are there? How can we encourage to make that school come up so that we have...
It's not private business.
Right.
Schools don't operate competitively. We operate collaboratively. There's no teacher that's going to teach harder so she can be at Farragut. We all do the very best we can and work as hard as we possibly can. The problem is resources. The problem is resources in all of those schools. We need to have them, and that's the difference.
We're going to pick up on this topic and others as we come back with more on Inside Tennessee on this Sunday morning. Yes, sir.